Okay, in this video we're going to continue where we left off and complete the next type of recommendation kind or type. So in this one we did item recommendation from all items. Now let's update this to from unrated items, and let's save as, because we're going to need a different experiment for each of them. So this is new items only. And I'm going to take off this reduced. We get that it's reduced after our last video. Okay, copy, perfect. Let's see. So we've changed that. The only other thing, and I had already done this previously, although I've made a lot of adjustments in between videos. If you didn't have this one, the only difference between new items, or sorry, doing an item recommender from all items versus an item recommender for new items, is that we need to connect this training data set here from split data. If you didn't already have that, connect that one, and that's basically it. Let's run this thing. And then we'll build our predictive experiment, build our web service, and implement it on the web page. So I'll pause this while that's running. All right, that's done. Let's take a look. All right, cool. User, 5 items, except I forgot. We're going to turn that down to 3 instead of 5. Let's do that one more time. Unselected. Okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and, oh, it's grayed out. Sometimes this happens, even though it shows it's all run. I just have to hit run one more time, and then all of a sudden the setup web service will show up. All of these things are cached, but somehow it doesn't have it stored in its memory that the whole thing is complete. So it's going to be super quick because it's just going to pull up all of the pre-processed pills from its cache. That's done. There we go. Okay, so now we can set up our predictive web service. All right, cool. We're going to go through some of the same process we went through before. Connect the web service directly down here. We no longer need the math operation or the edit metadata. Pull this into, whoops, come on. Both spots like we had it before. This is still pulling in both donor and project ID like we needed, but we don't need this sum donation amount anymore because but we still need both donor and project because item recommender works off of both. Let's see here. What else have I forgotten? This is not necessary, but I just like to keep things organized. Okay. Pull that down, pull that down. Cool. Oh, I guess last thing I can do, you know, I'm not even going to worry about it anymore. I was going to remove the donor ID. But I can just ignore it in my results and call it good. So let's run this thing. Okay, let's double check it. Make sure everything looks good. There we go. Our users and our items looks great. All right, let's deploy this thing then. All right, let's test it out in Postman. Let's see here. Grab the new API key. Whoops, there it is. Grab our new URL. I have a different one for each version. Let's go ahead and send that. So on this one, remember, I didn't remove the user ID, so we'll get that back in the list. That's the one minor difference, but other than that, that's about it. So here we have user. So I just get this one extra ID right here, and we'll just ignore it. And this time, instead of using 0, 1, 2, we'll use 1, 2, 3. So we can ignore that one. So cool. Let's go back to our app then, and let's modify it to make this work. So here on the main page, I'm going to, I'll just make it below. That'll be fine. I can get rid of this stuff. Don't need that right now. Let's grab this div, copy it. Let's make another one right here. This is going to be DDL donors 2. Why did I call this items? I should have called it projects. Oh well. I'll just keep it consistent. DDL items 2. On click, it's not going to run that previous one. This one is going to be called BTN item recommender new for the new items. And label result 2 instead of result 1. All right, let's synchronize views. And go ahead and click this button. All right, so first things first, I'm going to collapse this one. We need to go ahead and populate the next two list items as well. So here's an option. We're already cycling through the databases right now. How about we just, at the same time that we're adding it to DDL donors, donors 1, we add it to DDL donors 2. There we go. Add to both of them because these are going to have the exact same thing. So I'll just do that. There we go. So our lists are pre-populated. That's taken care of. However, we want to do something similar. Do I just copy all this? It'd be a lot smarter to make myself a cleaner method, but because I don't want to spend any longer than I need to, I am just going to copy all of it and then modify it a bit. So in this one, the only difference is, I think maybe almost nothing. Let's double check. Oh yeah, no, except for our label result. This isn't label result 1, it's label result 2. So let's update that everywhere. You will probably, hopefully, be able to think of several much more efficient ways of doing this. Okay, oh, I no longer need these anymore. This was from something else. You can ignore this. Okay. And actually, has anything else? Oh yeah, right here. Because I'm now returning the user ID. I didn't select columns and remove it. I'm looking at items 1, 2, and 3 in that array instead of 0, 1, and 2. Oh yeah, then right here, I need to update this with the new API key. So let's go ahead and grab our code. But, you know, how about instead of doing the whole code and overwriting all of it, why don't I just grab my key right here, overwrite this key, grab my URL, overwrite this URL. Then the only other thing is to tell it to pull this from DDL donors 2 and DDL items 2. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Let's run this thing. I've probably forgotten something else. We'll figure it out. All right. Oh, yeah, I want to call it not all items. This is the one with new items. New items only. Oh, I guess I could have given that line break. I'll do that later. Let's pick somebody else, a different project. Let's recommend. Okay, I still have Gadget Girls. I want to say something too. It looks like the same ones to me. So I'm a little worried. Does this mean that these were new items up here? I did select somebody different. So yeah, it could be that these ones are new. I think I want to change this up here in the list to the same ones and see if they truly are the same. Yeah, seems like we would get different ones. All right, let's go back here and just take one more look to be sure. First of all, I'm thinking about it. I want to add a couple line breaks there. Okay, so I am calling a different, I just changed all that. I am calling a different one, and it's based off the new drop-down lists. Yeah, that looks right. Our project ID, and so I've got my rec 1, 2, and 3 based on those outputs. Well, it probably is fine then. I don't really have a way to verify it though very easily. So let me recommend that one and then try someone totally different. It is normal. It basically means that, you know, certain items are going to be, you know, the most popular ones are going to be the same for almost everybody. But I would like to find a situation where these two are different just to double check and make sure it's working. Also, since I reduced down my data set size, yeah, well, remember when we looked at I'm not too surprised because when we did this in here, we did learn that it was the same for almost everybody. So here, the first one, second one, third one's the same. Oh no, right here, for this person it's different. And this is just a function of the data set I happen to choose here. This one's different, and that one's different. This person, those are different, those are different. So it's recommending the same ones for everybody. It's just because I turned down the size of the data set so much. So anyway, that's fine. In practice, as we're able to handle more data, we'll get a richer, more diverse set of predictions for everybody. But for now, that one's just fine. So cool, that's all I have to do to implement an item recommendation from unrated items.